we have the unique key. As I said, the Lac Jeannine project, which we're going to talk about, we have an option for $50,000. We can exercise it for $2 million, and the NPV is $100 million. So that gives you an idea of the upside that can be developed from these projects.
Welcome back inside our proactive newsroom, and joining me now is Julian Treger. He is the CEO of CoTec. And Julian, it's good to see you. How are you?
I'm great, Steve, and very kind of you to have me on your program.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn about what's been going on. I know you had some pretty significant news, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But maybe for those not familiar, tell us a little bit about CoTec.
Yeah, CoTec's a quite innovative company. We started a couple of years ago, and it's basically taking disruptive technologies and then applying them particularly to waste assets for iron ore, copper, titanium, manganese, tungsten, etc., plus to e-waste, which has old magnets in it. So it's a very neat business which can buy metallic assets very cheaply because it has the unique key to unlocking their value.
Yeah, tell me a bit about the technology that you utilize.
Well, we have now 6 technologies which have innovative ways of dealing with very fine materials, very hard rocks, and very low grade, which is what miners left behind when they mined. So we have a solution to what's left in the dumps and the tailings. And then we also have this really interesting technology which was developed in the UK to reprocess rare earth magnets with a shortcut process. And that's a business we're building out in the US as well.
And Julian, your background is in mining, so you've seen this firsthand as you sort of develop this company, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been investors in the sector for 20 years. We've made on average 5 times our money, which is a great track record compared to many of the other funds in the space. And we're very excited about this. We think it has a lot of opportunity and it's the new area to be developed. When we started it 4 years ago, people didn't understand if we were a VC fund, and the idea of waste seemed quite, alien. But I think it's a concept whose time has come, particularly, for the West, which is trying to develop its own supply chain to compete now with China, particularly in critical minerals.
Yeah. And so do you have a criteria around projects that you'll look at?
Well, first of all, our technology doesn't work in 100% of instances, but it has a very good success rate. Generally, we're looking for something where we have the unique key. As I said, the Lac Jeannine project, which we're going to talk about, we have an option for $50,000. We can exercise it for $2 million, and the NPV is $100 million. So that gives you an idea of the upside that can be developed from these projects. But they do have to have certain geological criteria that they meet. I mean, obviously, with the magnet recycling, we can use almost any sort of magnet. So we're looking there at hard disk drives and MRI machines and wind turbines. So there's different fits for different opportunities.
Yeah. You mentioned Lac Jeannine. Let's talk about that because you just recently updated the preliminary economic assessment, an independent review of it. Found resource improved by 41%, mine life improved as well. Sounds like the numbers are really got a lot better here.
Yeah, well, what we announced first was only drilling half the site. So now we've finished drilling all the site, and you'll see it, roughly doubling in size. There's still more value to be added to Lac Jeannine because we could still apply some of our technologies to further beneficiate the product, particularly make pellets. So I think there's more upside, but just the value of Lac Jeannine is almost the whole value of CoTec, and it's actually, just the smallest of our 3 existing assets. The other thing we've announced recently, Steve, is the beginnings of CoTec Copper. We announced a joint venture with a very interesting copper mining business in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And there's more to come as well. So we've created a lot of value. There's a lot of upside, and we continue to back the business.
All right. And just as we wrap up here, give me some thoughts about the next 3 to 6 months. What should investors be looking at?
Well, I think the big thing for investors is, the progress we make on listing our magnet recycling business. The value of the magnet recycling business is like 10x the
Mm.
current market cap. So, the decision to move ahead with building the first plant, more information on offtakes, feedstock, and then obviously, the appointment of the bankers to lead the IPO, all of that, I think will be significant events for CoTec and its shareholders.
All right. Well, we'll make sure we continue to follow the story. Julian, thanks so much. Really unique business, and we look forward to seeing how it all works out for you. Okay. Thank you.
Always a pleasure, Steve. Thank you.
All right. Julian Treger, the CEO of CoTec.